All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. This is a co-stream that we do every Wednesday at the same time each week. So please join us next week. We got Brian White from Future Aza. You can watch this on his channel as well as Nick Gibbs from Investing Against the Grain. This is the day, 2 days, 3 days after the big Sunday Robotaxi launch. We're going to go and just recap everything that happened, the good, the bad, just talk. And I've got two predictions. I think Nick has some predictions as well of when we might expect the next version of FSD and when will we expect Tesla's Robotaxi to expand its geography. So welcome both of you guys. How are you?
Oh my gosh. So I'm still on the road. I'm in, I don't know, Rock Springs, Wyoming. My trip is not yet done. I've got a couple more stops. Things are going great out here. All four of us in the car are taking turns supervising, so the miles just fly by.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a quick look at Austin. Of course, there was lots of. Oops, let's pull this off for a second. You've got lots of Waymos and Teslas. So there's a Waymo. We saw quite a number of Waymos. We have the same geography. Tesla has about 50% of the geography. That's a brand new Model Y on the left there, but that's a Waymo. This is the Robotaxi. You can see the Robotaxi label on the left. There you go, just showing it off. There was a safety monitor in the car, but there's nobody driving these cars, just like the Waymos. So they were there, yeah. But which one would you rather take? There's a lot.
How do
of
we know that?
Yeah.
I say this a lot, but how do we know that those are the autonomous Jaguars and not just regular ones?
Yeah, I wonder. How do we know, Brian?
With a Robotaxi, the only way you can tell is because there's no one behind the wheel. I mean, the sticker, sure, but I can put a sticker on a car.
Yeah. So anyways, let me show you what happened. So of course, I was one of the lucky people, 14 people that was given early access. I'm not going to show the whole video, but
I'm wondering about the UI.
You know, this is like the first ride.
No, what's okay.
Can you see it?
Keep on going.
Great. I'm loving this. Okay. So first of all, I think actually it's okay, right? In fact, I prefer that it picked us up at a parking lot, not safer. It's much safer location than straight at the. I'm gonna jump in ahead. Which is stoplight when that. Yeah, here's going. Boy, I'm liking this. The car's like pretty quick. It doesn't wait too long, right? It's just like you. As soon as the car in front of you starts moving, this moves. Very confident. Very smooth. I was gonna test it too, Xander. Can we have like a coffee cup to see how smooth this is?
I got something better for you.
Ashok Laswami's goal here is to have a. All right, there you go. So that was a blast.
How cool. How cool. And what a flex that they're just using a car that you and I can buy today.
Yeah. Lost Nick, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, exciting. Congratulations on being one of, if not the first Robotaxi ride.
Yeah. So I thought that I did 10 rides, different guests, and they were all flawless for me on one side. I've done a couple shows with Brian explaining how people took little pieces of my show going, that was a mistake and that was a mistake. The car, one example was the car was driving 39 miles per hour on a 35 speed zone, and articles were written about it. Tesla's speed, CNBC. There was a woman on CNBC that said, I heard that, I read that Tesla's speed, all because of me. Apparently 39 on a 35, and everybody around us was driving in the same flow of traffic. So that was just, how everybody was looking for something that they can find negative about it and say, there were some things that happened that is not perfect, and we can talk about that as well. But in general, do you guys think that this was a important event, and what was your thoughts of how Sunday went?
Well, I'd say I couldn't tell you. It didn't go. I had other things to do. I was totally busy. No, this is huge. This is the next step. This is what we've been waiting for. I do have a bunch of questions about how critical a bumper camera is to this, and for that matter, how critical a rear seat display is. If you've got passengers in the back, are they going to be able to holler at Grok to make their desires known? I don't know. I'll be curious to see.
Yeah, it was a very interesting reaction across the board, I would say. I think with the media, we expected that, but at the same time, it's kind of sad. It's very sad that at no point can they ever just say, "Hey, good job. It wasn't perfect in our eyes, but they hit a big milestone, and we'll have to see what they can do from here." They still haven't caught up to Waymo. They have a lot to scale, but Elon said he's going to do certain things, and Tesla said it, so we'll see what happens. But congratulations to Tesla, an American company, for this monumental step. Like, there's no pride at all, which is insane to me. Like, it's just this isn't politics, but you see the same thing with politics. Like, if for once we could all just get on the same side and just have an American pride, like, what a country we could have here. But instead, we're picking sides constantly on different topics rather than just being, our country first, humanity first, safety first. It's just crazy. And then from the Tesla community, kudos to many of the Tesla community for honestly blacking out, shunning a lot of the news outlets, media out there. Dirty Tesla essentially did the same thing today. I heard people doing it with Bloomberg. And, I think someone said it very, very eloquently. You guys had your chance and you blew it. So no, we will not give a statement. And I think it's a testament to everybody who was invited and all the good reporting everybody did that was honest and not one-sided.
Yeah, I think that might have been Chuck Cook who said you had your chance. And Bloomberg is a great example, but CNBC, a lot of those Reuters, they've been chasing the blood. And if you look at SpaceX News, it doesn't have the same kind of negativity because the consumers of SpaceX News won't stand for it. They are hopeful, optimistic people looking toward the future. Guys, can we get some great news? I mean, this is great news. I don't care. When Waymo rolled out, they didn't get big, great news either. And I still think that's exciting. That should have been, why is that not front page news? Why isn't this front page news? The front page news, like you said, Nick, is, well, it's disappointing. Really? I'm sorry your student got an A instead of an A+, but it isn't disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day,
add to that real quick.
Go
Ryan,
ahead,
I think that's such a good point. And with but they do it with SpaceX is a thing. They still do it with SpaceX. Every time there's a launch of Starship, it's Tesla blew up another whatever. It failed again. It's like, I don't get it, guys. I just don't get it. Like,
well, that's the news they pander to the masses. If you follow SpaceX in between launches, all of the news is neutral to positive because all of the news is neutral to positive. It's just when some news story becomes so big that the vast majority of people can no longer ignore it, then they go into the negative territory because all the haters are going to click on it, and all of us are going to have to click it too because we need to know what they said so we can debunk it. It's a really vicious cycle.
Yeah, I think the good news is that the mass media, media is getting less and less important. And at the end of the day, though, do you guys agree that the general public, what did they come out of this? Do they think that it was a failure or do they think it was a success? That's one metric, but more importantly was the actual milestone. And is Tesla still going to succeed? And absolutely, right? From our perspective, just looking at what happened, it is a success. We had here, you got Elon Ashok Elswamy, who's in charge of the Tesla AI program. He posted this saying Robotaxi launch party celebration, and they were celebrating. They thought it's a big deal to actually launch and to actually have a service now available, paid commercial rides, even though that it was a small group of people, even though that there was a safety monitor sitting in the car. It was very successful. And they were quite happy with that, and it actually worked out really well. Right, 10 years. He said, "What is it? Hold on here. What happened to it? I lost my screen here." Yeah, so 10 years in the making, he said, and incredible work from the entire Tesla team to get to this milestone. This is the dashboard that they're finally doing. They're tracking it. So now, what are we doing as Tesla investors? We're going to be tracking vehicle sales, but we're now also going to be tracking Robotaxi rides, and it's small numbers now, but we're going to watch it scale quickly. Yeah, so they thought it was a success, I think.
Yeah, just a comment that everyone's probably going to ignore, but something that I really appreciated was the Tesla team, from Elon to Shock to other people on the team, giving kudos to not just the Tesla AI team, but the chips team, the hardware team, just everybody. Because so often when these big milestones are achieved, there's a select few people that get all the attention because they're kind of like at the forefront of it. But there's a lot of back end that goes to it. And I don't know. It shows what type of culture and people they have there when they're recognizing the people that they know will be some of the unsung heroes of this, and that without them, it's not possible. I don't know. I just thought that was just a class act. Being in this world, you see it all the time where the devs, the DBAs, the sysadmins, like none of them get any of the flowers, but it's just the people who are, face front that get the flowers. So I saw that. I was like, you know what? It's just really well played,
Yeah, and a lot of the skeptical, whiner comments that I've seen are just that. Well, the geographic area is too small. Right, because we want the number of vehicles to match the geography somewhat. You go too big, you don't have enough coverage. Who wants that? Well, there shouldn't be anyone in the car with you at all. Why? I mean, this is literally day one we're talking about, the first week. Why? Who cares? Why do you care? It can't go to the airport. Right. Well, with 10 cars, do you really want them to get permitting approved? I mean, there's a whole process that you have to go through to be allowed to pick up at the airport, unless it's just you picking up your cousin. So, I mean, I don't know. The goalposts are on wheels. They are still being moved. Hopefully they've at least electrified the goalposts so that they can move them in a clean and sustainable way, but I'm not convinced.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. What did they accomplish, right? So yes, it was 10 cars, but most importantly, they launched an app. People can actually download the app and order and ride hail, and it looked just like an Uber. You know how many people kept saying, nope, there's no way. You need to partner with Uber because Uber has an app that they've developed for 10 years. Well, here you go. It's called Robotaxi, and you can sign in.
Building an app, the hardest thing ever.
I know.
Well, to be fair, I think the argument with Uber and the app is more so the network effect they have within the app, not the app itself.
No. That's not what we heard. We heard them say it will be very difficult to build the app, specifically the tracking of the cars and so forth. And no. Network effect.
Well, and it'll be hard
Uber,
to get customers. How can they get customers? Right. Well, there's already 10 million people who have the regular Tesla app. It'll just have a button that says click here to get the other app to do a ride. That was it. They were saying, Uber, Gary Black would say, why would you not partner with Uber? Because then you can have Uber app and it's already got all the customers there. He kept talking about 350 MAUs, which is monthly active users, 350 million monthly active users. Okay. We'll see if Tesla can get that eventually. Here's the app called Robotaxi. When you sign in, and if you happen to already have a Tesla, it's seamless. You just type in your credentials for Tesla, and all of your connections are already connected. Otherwise, you'll have to create it. Simple user interface. Tracks the cars just like an Uber Lyft. You can follow along where it's going, but you can control the car. You've got temperature controls, volume controls. You can see what you want to talk about or what audio you want to listen to. You can tell it to pull over. And you can see in the future what's going to happen. Your cafes, food. You can pick locations you want it to go to. Your ride is 3 minutes away. Here's the license plate. Once the car comes, the vehicle lights, exterior lights will pulse. And you
and it's giving you tips on how to use the car, and then you could track it along the way it works. It was a few bugs to it, but I felt that these bugs were minor, that they would be solved within a week. In fact, if not 2 weeks, it's pretty straightforward. I didn't think that was going to be an issue. So what do you guys think about the app itself and the accomplishment of this?
I'll defer to Nick on that. I just think it's fine. I don't have any room for criticism.
I actually, I don't normally say this about apps, but I thought it was very clean and beautiful. And I like that they continued with the gold kind of yellow theme going into it. I thought it was nice. Elegant theme. The Uber apps become kind of an advertisement hot mess, in my opinion. I like how clean and simple this is. That's the nice thing with Teslas. You notice they don't advertise a lot on their stuff. You know, I mean, they'll do internal promotion stuff, but nowadays I feel like Uber's just become kind of clunky in their app. Still, the service itself works great, right? You know, functionality, but the app itself has become clunky, and it's nice to see a stripped down app again.
When I hear that Uber's got hundreds of millions of active users, what I hear is addressable market, because this is going to be cheaper. This is going to be easier and more convenient. This is going to be safer. And any one of those things would pull huge numbers from Uber, and all of them combined, well, that's a problem if your name is not Tesla.
Yeah, like if I show you this, like I don't know how well you can see this, but like just like
the hell is Grinder?
Look at it. Like
Jesus,
there's just so much crap here, you know? Like what is all this? I don't need all this.
Yeah. Okay, so they have an app. They launched it. They showed that they can be paid, but more importantly, they have a command center that's tracking all the metrics, making sure everything's safe. You saw in the command center there is one area that's tracking the weather, another one that's tracking the key metrics. I think how many miles, maybe how many cars, and then you can see another database that was tracking how many each ride. And you can see certain rides, and you can see how it's going, and what's going on there. So that was the big thing, right? That's a whole program that they've launched. You've got this ability here to in the back screen to actually play all of your content, your music, my YouTube, my Disney Plus, my Netflix, my Apple Music playlist, Spotify playlist. That's when you walked in, my music was playing. Like as soon as I walked in, there's no Bluetooth connection required. And so I think that alone, I'd like to talk about it later. I think that's once you connect it to one Tesla, any Tesla you walk into will feel like it's yours. I don't know why you'd ever go into another Waymo at that point or another Uber. Then you have access to this. We were, Sat and I were in the car back. We were playing I was playing in my music. It was playing his music. We're having fun there. I was playing games with Xander, like a video game. And here's the thing too, is that you have the support button. So I think this is one of the most important things that they had to do was have as many live agents as possible, that if somebody wanted to speak to a human, you have this ability to do that. And so that's one of the reasons why they didn't want to expand beyond 10 at the first day, just to test this out and makes it work. Let's listen to this.
Will we get you in trouble if we hit the support button to see what happens?
Okay. All right, hitting support. You're currently queuing agent will be with you shortly. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, trying to get the in focus.
It says the Robotaxi support. How may I help?
Hi, we're just testing out the support and seeing how you guys do this. So we can basically ask any question, or how does the support work?
As far as solutions, I would like to instruct you to refer to our website for any question like that to support the vehicle, make sure everything goes where it's supposed to for your trip.
Okay. We will appreciate it. So we just hang up by hitting the button on the screen?
If you're done with me, I can go ahead and disconnect the call.
All right, you can disconnect. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, that's cool.
Yep. So you have this ability to talk to a support agent at any time, and it was really quick and easy.
Yeah,
it's like, I'm sorry, I got to show this.
Go ahead.
Stupid comment. This guy goes, first time I've seen a screen in the backseat of a car. I'm all in.
I don't think that's stupid. I think a lot of people don't follow these things the way we do, and it is, at least for Tesla, a new feature in the last few years. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Okay. This is not just a back screen in the car. It is a back screen. But what we're pointing out, if you saw the videos and what's happening, when you walk in, you have apps. You can turn on YouTube and play YouTube. You can turn on Netflix, my Netflix app, to play my Netflix movies. I have my Apple Music. I have my Spotify list. I have everything. I have so many. I can play video games back there. So it's not just a screen. It's the ability to do that. Tell me where else you've ever seen that before, except for a Tesla. If you own a Tesla now, you as a rider going to any car will have your apps all installed. When I rent a car, they've got Apple CarPlay. They got a limited number of sets, and it takes me forever to try to connect Bluetooth or connect my phone to just set that up. This is seamless. You walk in and it's there, logged in for you. Like, it's not just a screen in the back, right? Is that...
I think that's exactly right. Having the ability to pick up the podcast I listen to on the way to work, on the way home is pretty cool. And something, I mean, I guess you could do that on your phone, but now you don't have to. I think it's... there's a lot of people who are desperate to find something wrong with this, and I just don't see it. Anybody?
Yeah. Okay. So let's go through what we think, what else is next. What's coming next, right? So you've got this launch, and I think most of us, the Tesla Bulls, thought that it was very good. I think I've seen I did a show where I covered a lot of institutional analysts. The analysts all said it was very successful. They recognized that it was a first step, but it's launched. This is it, right? The criticism everybody had about Tesla was, oh yeah, they talk about one day they'll have a Robotaxi service. Yeah, 2 weeks, years, every year he says it's happening. Okay, you're right. It took forever, 10 years for this to happen, but it's here now. So they get it, but they also they're now debating in terms of when this will be a massive hit to earnings, how much growth this will be. That's what they're debating now, but they cannot debate anymore that this product exists in the market. Then you have the mainstream media, and they will do everything they can to say as much negative as they could. But in general, this was a success. So where do you guys think is the next steps? What is the next phase 2?
Roll it out wider, increase not just the geographical area to all of Austin, the area that's larger than Waymo's, but also increase the number of vehicles so there's better saturation. And then, just proof of concept it entirely in Austin, dial it in all the way in Austin. We don't know the ratio of remote supervisors to vehicles, because the picture we saw from Mission Control was the entire team standing around watching, going, it works. Those people aren't all working, they're watching. So, as soon as that happens, Austin first, then the world.
So I've got 2 rumors that I want to share. I think Nick heard this already. We got to get your thoughts on this, okay? The first prediction is that Tesla will expand the geography on June 28th. That is like 3 days from now. Why June 28th? Okay, so because Elon said, right, that we're going to launch Robotaxi possibly on June 22nd, which they did. Then he said that maybe around June 28th, that could be the first time that if you are a buyer of a Tesla Model Y or Tesla, you buy it, the car will drive itself from the factory to your home. He said that could happen on June 20th. So we're just thinking, if that actually does happen, let's say it doesn't happen June 20th, but sometime this week or next week, then why wouldn't they at that time expand the geography for Robotaxi to also include Giga Texas? Now, there's not really a connection between, Robotaxi service and all the things we just talked about. Maybe they won't do this, but some people are thinking, yeah, that makes sense, that they would just go ahead and expand. Because if you can already have cars leaving the factory to go to people's homes, why couldn't you already agree that you can do Robotaxi for that geography too? Then somebody said, makes sense too. If that car does drive from the factory by itself to your home, and that's not part of the Robotaxi fleet, wouldn't they have to have installed the latest version of FSD? If anything, the version that the Robotaxi apps have, which is a version ahead of ours that we have in our homes or in our cars. And so they said, well, then that does not make sense too, that maybe when they do that, they'll also release the version of FSD to all of us at home as well. What do you guys think about these two predictions?
I think they're great. I think they're plausible. It's going to be interesting to see. I wouldn't be surprised if someone on the 28th tries to buy a car just to get it delivered.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There are people who are just that excited.
Yeah, I think these are good ideas, and again, credit to CERN for kind of putting together some of these. But there's also more symbolism. I believe the 28th is Elon's birthday. So that's a little, another little nugget there. I know you don't agree with this, Herbert, but I definitely think that there's a chance that the vehicle is delivered is one of the new models that are coming out, one of the new vehicles that will be coming out. I mean, could you just imagine if Tesla announced, hey, we're about to have the first vehicle delivered all the way, and it's literally a brand new vehicle that nobody's seen, even if it looks like the Model Y or 3, but fascia is different or whatever, body slightly different. Like, talk about press. That's a hell of a press, it driving itself. And obviously, I know everybody's like, oh, well, people would have to know to buy it. Right. A lot of times these first vehicles are bought by employees. So,
and slap an Insta360 on the back like AI Driver does and live stream it. Let us watch the journey unfold.
Yes. You should post that on X that Elon needs to do that. They should absolutely get in touch with AI Driver so they can have the same setup, because that's an excellent setup he has.
So the reason I don't agree with that, or I have lower doubt or higher doubt that it might happen, is because if you are using the Model Y and that's what you've optimized for Robotaxi, that's the safest. And if you're paranoid, you just make sure there's nothing happening. You'll pick a Model Y as your first one that you're going to let drive home, because that's when you've tested the most. Having different form factors like a Cybertruck and now this new car that hasn't really been tested as much, that's a little bit higher risk to do that. So I just don't think that will happen.
The reason why I think that's not a serious point, Herbert, is because we know that these new vehicles will be built on the same lines. So there's a good chance that's more of a cosmetic change than a structural change. So the cameras and everything might essentially be the exact same as what a Model Y is, but there's just a very slight aesthetic differences, not necessarily a structural or meaningful difference. Ergo, it would be no different than a Model Y.
Okay. I think I initially believed, agree with you, that it was just going to be like different fascia on the same Model Y. But now most people, I kind of lean towards this now, that there's going to be a mini Model Y and a maxi Model Y.
Even then, the cameras don't have to change spots if that was the case.
Right.
The problem with a maxi Model Y is if they extend the wheelbase, it doesn't fit on the production line the same way. The line is already optimized for a vehicle of precisely that length. So I don't know how complicated it would be. I talked with a Ford engineer over the weekend about that possibility, and he suggested it would be deeply problematic to try and make a significantly longer, even 3 to 5 inches longer vehicle on the same line without it impacting the entire line.
All right. 2 more rumors that we can talk about that's possibly going to be true. You guys tell me if you think it is. This guy said that there's a facility 15 minutes near Tesla Giga Texas that houses the Robotaxis. And if the rumors are true, the facility has a ton of Robotaxis. I have a feeling this ramp will be massive.
Josh West found it. Josh West 24/7 went out there and has seen it himself.
Really?
I asked if they were cybercabs. He said, no, they're Robotaxis. So they could be on the verge of, June 28th. The theory could be true. And if they're ready on the 27th, they might wait until the 28th to make it special. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's 3 days away, guys.
I know. it's
Like,
too crazy.
I know. We talk about June 28th, and I feel like it's June 5th or something.
Right.
It's like, oh my gosh, it's already the end of June.
Crazy. Yeah, I think the folks have been tracking the robotaxis that have been in service, which is in service still today. Right now, people are taking it at nighttime. They're taking it at every day since Sunday. So it wasn't just a one-day thing. This is live, and if I flew back there right now, I can do as many robotaxi rides as I want, and they're expanding the number of people that can download the app. But do you guys think that
do we know that? Do we know if
yes.
Are there new people?
Yes.
I guess Bradford maybe was one.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I know 5 or plus people. But those people have been now tracking the license plates. So if you take a look at this one, I think this photo does it. This photo has like a license plate of one of the robotaxis, and they're tracking it. And apparently, there's 11 of them that's on the roads right now. And so people are tracking this. So good.
So Brian, are you and I the only ones that haven't gotten an invite yet?
I did not get an invite, no. But I am now headed out west. I've been invited to a different event out west that I will be attending on the 26th. Yes, tomorrow. So I've got a lot of miles to cover to get there. And it's very exciting. It's a materials science kind of event, which I can share with you off channel, but it is a very hush-hush sort of thing for the moment.
Exciting. Congrats.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I think maybe 20 people that has an ability. You go there, I'm sure they'll give you one at that point, and then they're just going to keep expanding at this point. So the other rumor, you guys think if this one's true, Lincoln was just sharing this rumor. Numerous robotaxis were spotted without a driver on the highway, outside of the geofenced area, on the highway. And so he's going, they're going to scale quicker than I expected because they're already seeing these cars being tested outside of the geofenced area. So just another little potential nugget.
I believe Joe Tegmeyer has also seen the highway operating ones. Waymo took, forever to get on the highway. Are they on the highway yet? If they are, it's a very recent development when Omar and Kilowatts and I forget who the third one was, would do the race across San Francisco in Cruise, Waymo, and Tesla. Cruise and Waymo just wouldn't get on the highway. So Tesla immediately starts with a 10-minute advantage because it's not afraid. And so, yeah, pretty interesting to see that they are moving so quickly compared to the other guys.
I mean, the only reason they did not include the highway again on the first days is because they want to be careful, less chance of, an accident. But we know that FSD is actually better on highways than on city streets. It's just that on highways, you have to drive faster, higher speeds. So there's more. So there's no reason why they couldn't just add a highway at this point in terms of the functionality of FSD. It's just a decision on their part. So I think it might happen sooner than we realize. Here's another thing that they did that was very interesting. They introduced a website, tesla.com/robotaxi, where people can actually sign up now, and you'll be one of the first them to take an autonomous ride in Model Y when the service launches near you. So, it's the beginning. It's early. But the question is, like, if you're just trying to get, let's say by the end of this year, you're just trying to get 1,000 users by the end of this year, why would you need to launch a website now? You can get 1,000 users without launching a website. Feels like you only need a website if you're like thinking you're going to go 10,000 users sooner than later.
I think it might be a way to indicate where they should roll out first, where there's the strongest interest. Boy, a lot of dead air today.
Yeah, I think I hear you on that, Herbert, but at the same time, you can still sign up for Roadster, and we haven't exactly gotten those out yet. So
right. It means nothing. Okay,
it doesn't always mean something.
I give you that.
What I'm more so paying attention to now is, it's all about these these milestone steps. And this past weekend was great, and I think it was very successful. But all right, it's Wednesday now. We're done with that. Now it's where now is the time where Tesla's either going to put up or have to shut up, because they have been talking nonstop about their approach is a generalized approach that allows for quick scaling. So the question now is, when do we actually start to get more people into the network? I know you're saying there are some people now, but in a way where it at least, makes news, if you will. So when do they add enough people to actually make a little noise? When do they expand the surface area of the geofence? When do they start adding more vehicles, right? What does that look like? And what's the pace of that? I think that next rollout, if it is on the 28th, and all of a sudden we are covering the same amount of surface area, if not more than Waymo, and there's, we go from 10, 11 vehicles to 40, 50, 60 vehicles,
20, 30,
that's going to be a very, very big deal. But right now, I think
30,
it's
40? Like if it was just 10 more, 20, that's not enough for you?
In that surface area, no. You guys were getting constrained with 6 people and 11 vehicles in a 20 by 10 area. So no.
But it's still invite only, so it's not like you're not really upsetting anybody. We're all beta testers.
And it's also 6 to 10 riders taking. Dirty Tesla took 50 rides, so the utilization might not be that intense.
Yeah, but my point is, using the excuse, but it was only early access or whatever. Like, great, that was good for Sunday. That's not good anymore. Now we're talking about scaling. So when you scale, great. That was great for the launch. You're right. Those things aren't that important for the launch. But now, if we're trying to actually get some signal out of what could scaling look like, and I don't expect the first time that they go from, the MVP to the general availability to be the fastest part of the scale, but it needs to be something that shows signal, something that creates a little momentum or excitement, like something that tells people, oh, damn, they're already expanding. That's what I'm going to be looking out for now. When is that moment? When does that happen? Is it on the 28th? Because that will be a very big deal.
Yeah.
And it has to be more than 20 vehicles, because in that greater of a surface area, 20 vehicles isn't enough.
Yeah, that part I'm not as concerned about. I think that like if each week they introduce 10 each, it sounds slow, and it is slow, but that's okay with me because that is what they communicated already. It's going to be very paranoid. We're testing everything carefully. Now, 3 months from now, that one I want to see from 40, 50 vehicles to 200 vehicles, from 200 to 1,000. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, there's no reason it shouldn't be able to do it.
No.
Because, I mean, we're all driving all the time anyways already.
Yeah.
And we see how good it is. Like, the limiting factor would be, do you have enough people at your command center? Not, is the technology there?
How quickly can we scale the ratio down of remote operators to vehicles is what I hear you saying, and I agree.
Yeah.
But before we talk about remote operators, we need to see the safety monitor who's sitting on the front right be gone. I think I've communicated this multiple shows at this point, that my theory of why that person's there, first of all, they were all men. I think we might have seen a first woman today. I'm not 100% sure. And I think that the reason is because they're there for an intervention. I think there was a one time when Dave Lee in the UPS truck, Dave Lee's car, Robotaxi, was stopped was first to this empty parking spot. UPS truck was backing up. The safety monitor pressed the button on the screen. So that was an intervention, but that was just to tell the team in the back to pay attention, or to tell the car to stop. And it was already stopped, but they don't move. Just don't go into the parking lot. But the UPS is the one making the mistake of going backwards. But I think that the reason they are there is because it's the first week, and that there is known Tesla enemies There's a lot of Tesla enemies that was going to do anything they can to make sure that this launch fails. You heard Elon himself even say it. There's some crazies out there, and so I wouldn't be surprised if Dan O'Dowd paid a bunch of kids to go running across the street. He's using dummies now, but he's desperate. He'll do whatever, and so they're there to say, "Hey, stop." If there's some enemies that come attack the car, that's what I think they're there. But if they're there because, the car is still going to make these interventions, then yeah, okay, if that's the reason, then they can't expand to 100 cars yet. But I think they can. I think that was the reason they're there. It's just that first week. We'll see.
I think it's going to be very easy to get the safety monitor rider out of the vehicle, and you can tell because their finger is already on the button. So just boom, eject them, and you're done.
Good one, Brad. They're just a button press away from getting out of the vehicle. They won't be there.
They'll be out at the light.
I don't have a problem with the monitors there, to be honest. I don't care if they're there for a while. I think it's irrelevant. Like, I just care about them scaling. They scale to 200, 300, 1,000. I don't care with an operator in there. I don't care. Like, I'm not convinced the operator there is just for that. I also think the operator might be calling in and giving some details about the ride at the end, because they are sitting there for a second, and I kind of feel like that's the person giving feedback at the end of the ride, and then it goes.
That's true. That's right. Makes
sense.
Think
about, like, with us when we ride, anytime we have an intervention, we give a feedback. So, it might just be as simple as everything was good, nothing to report. All right, let's go. Or it might be, take a look at this UPS truck was backing up against us. We should have backed up preventatively. That's it. But to give high fidelity context. And I imagine these are probably the people who have been testing this around. And I imagine they're constantly giving feedback. So
right. That's right.
I don't know. I think there's more than just a little bit of utility there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I am with Nick on this one. The presence of a supervisor, of a manager,
chaperone.
I don't know, a chaperone, doesn't concern me in the slightest. And I do think Herbert's point that this is a way of preventing malicious actors from getting involved. But what happens if the cars are driving to people's homes by themselves next week? Well, they won't be labeled Robotaxi. So I think they'll be a little bit harder to spot. And they won't be on predictable routes. They might only be one a day, maybe not even, because it's only within that limited area. It's only within the city of Austin at that point when it becomes available. So yeah, I'm not worried about any of that. And I don't know. It's pretty obvious that a whole lot of companies are really freaking out right now because they can see their gravy train about to end. If you're Uber or Lyft and you look at this and you don't have terror in your heart, you're not paying attention.
Yeah, exactly.
And Herbert, to address your point about the Dan O'Dowds of the world, the people who try to do something malicious, I almost feel like if it's not already happening, there should be an agreement between Tesla and the Waymo team that for anybody who tries to vandalize our vehicles, anybody who does anything nefarious inside the vehicles, we will share data across each other to ban these people from life to never be able to take another Robotaxi again.
Exactly.
Wow. And also share camera data. If you got a clear shot of him and I didn't, then yeah.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that, like, if you can never use one again, like, eventually Uber and Lyft will be gone. And this will be the only means of transportation. And it will probably only be Tesla and Waymo. Then what? You're just not going to be able to get around anywhere because you're essentially going to be blacklisted like you have a DUI? That's rough.
Pogo stick.
So
just take that.
Do you guys feel like I was there, so I felt the FSD, the version of FSD that they're using in the Robotaxis is different, better than the one we all are using right now in our homes, in our cars. I felt it better. I personally felt that this was a better version already. I can't wait for us to get this version. is that version good enough to go beyond the scale that you were talking about, Nick? 1,000 cars, let's say, by the end of this year. Or do we need to wait until this version? So this person was asking, did anyone find out which version of FSDs is on the Robotaxi? Also, any reason that this version has not gone out as wide release but as supervised? And he made a mistake by calling 4.5. So Omar was correcting him. The version of FSD that's Robotaxi that is better than the one we are using, he's calling it 13.3. This is not the 14.5. The 4.5 times larger model, I think Elon is now calling that. No. Yeah. So Elon said that this 4.5 times larger model is coming a few months away, said by the end of this year, second half of this year. So there's two versions, but is the version that we're using now in Robotaxi ready to go to expand to 1,000? Or do you think that Tesla might need to wait for this version, which is not going to come till the second half of this year, for that to be the one that you would then go and say, okay, we're going to expand it to 1,000, 2,000 cars?
I don't know on that myself. I would say I don't know what's so critically different about it that it wouldn't be something that they could just roll out wider. It's clear that you do want someone back at command center to be available. So I don't think we're going to be sending our cars to the store without anyone in them in the next, really, maybe even this year. So I don't know. I don't know on that, but I am definitely looking forward to the next version.
Yeah, my opinion is, honestly, even with the versions that we currently have, if you had a chaperone and you had Tesla watching in from their eagle's eye point of view, I think the vehicles we have used today could be running around here where I live, doing Robotaxi. I don't think you necessarily need another specific model. They're always going to want to iterate and get better and have better improved models, and that's the only way they're going to Brian's point earlier, going to get from having X amount of people monitoring to X minus 1, right? And have that continual downward slope of having less and less people having to monitor is by improving the model. It's the only way. But I don't think that they launch on Sunday without feeling very confident in what they have.
Exactly.
And so
Agreed.
I think if you can do that with 10, you can do that with 1,000. The driving's still driving. The only difference is, do you have enough chaperones? If you deem that it needs this version has to have that, and do you have enough people in the command center? And I imagine that's not even the limiting factor. Their limiting factors like, okay, let's just start with 10 in this area. Okay, let's do that. Let's us get comfortable. Let's us get comfortable with people calling in. What's that look like? How do we feel? How do we react? Where are our gaps? It's like when a restaurant opens, a soft opening, right? Let's figure out what's the handoff. Where's the miscommunication? Who's going to run out to refill the keg, and who's going to get the box of wine up there when we're busy? Hey, why is this plate sitting here for so long? Right? We got to iron that out. We got to work well together. So I think that's what Sunday was. I think that's what this week will be. But again, I think they have the vehicles. Obviously, I think they have the software, and I think expanding to all of Austin they could do that. I think they just want to orchestrate it in a way where they don't, run into a lot of different choke points and have accident because they're not well-oiled machine internally.
The question I had for Nick is, do you think that older cars without a bumper cam will eventually be able to be in the network, and can cars without a rear seat screen enter the network?
Yes and yes, with caveats. I think as long as it's a hardware forward vehicle, I think you'll easily be able to install a forward bumper camera. That's a very easy wiring route to do. And there's a slot for it too, I believe, on the computer. Unless I'm making that up, but I don't think I am. I'm fairly confident on that there's an outlet on the board for it. And then as far as the rear screen, same thing. I think you can retrofit, but I think eventually for the cars that don't have the rear screen, everything that Herbert and Xander and Sat were doing, you would just do that from your phone.
You can just do it on your phone.
Or voice. Grok it.
Or voice. Good point.
Yeah. So today, Elon confirmed that Grok is already on the Optimus bot. So if it's available there, why wouldn't you also have it ready here on the bot on the thing? I agree with you, Nick, that that's both of those are correct. And I think that the retrofit for the front, so you have an old Model 3, you don't have a front camera, you don't have the rear screen, and you say, I want it to be part of the Robotaxi, you have to bring it in to get set up. But unlike the Waymo, you don't have to bring it in and, take months for them to add all these LiDAR stuff. They just put the small camera in the front. And I don't think that they're going to retrofit the screen. I agree with you that they'll just give you the thing. So they'll update your hardware 3 to hardware 4, the computer chip, and they'll add a front camera to it. And then you're good to go. Yeah.
Now if they were smart, though, what they would do, and not saying they're not smart, but what they would do is they would sell the front bumper camera now with a manual instruction set on how to do it yourself, and they would sell the rear camera with instructions on how to install it yourself right now. That way we don't
rear
take
screen?
up service centers. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But show people how to do it. Have a YouTube video, show them how easy it is. I've done it on vehicles that I've had before where I installed. It's not hard. Literally, it's like one of the easiest things you can do as a DIY on your vehicle. But have people retrofitting their vehicles now with existing hardware 4s. The FSD computer, that's a different ballgame.
By the way, Tesla mobile service. I have a Model 3. Just last year's Model 3, which is the new refresh Model 3, and I decided to replace this. Like right in the dashboard, there's this thing that you can replace that it's charcoal suede. Tesla service, mobile service, drove to my house, didn't even need me there. They opened up the car door, they fixed it in 10 minutes, and then they left. So they could easily be just mobile service will drive to your house, install the front camera. If they prefer to have the rear screen, then they'll put that in. It's done really quick. It's not that hard.
So a quick reminder that in about 5 minutes here, the show wraps up. I have an after show on my channel where I go through some of the questions and comments that came in over the course of this show to provide folks an opportunity to get some answers to specific and sometimes terrible questions. Both are welcome. You'll be surprised. And I'll see you guys next week, Herbert. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you, Nick.
Cheers, my friend.
Nick. All right, man. So here we go. Phase 2. What you're thinking that Tesla will expand quickly. We've shown a lot of rumors today, but I think most people I've been sharing those kind of feel like they have some validity to them. So it sounds like nothing we've heard so far. Maybe we don't have access to all the data, right? But we don't know yet. But do you think that Tesla it's a go to expand beyond just these cars, or did something happen that they go, yeah, I'm not going to expand from 10 cars to 20 cars this week or next week or a month from now. It's not ready.
I don't know. I think this is the moment. Like you want to talk about what will send the stock back over 400 to 500. This is the moment. These next a few weeks to month. How long does Tesla stay in this confined geospace? How long before they open it up? How long before they start adding more and more vehicles? How long before they start making this more generally available? Like, to me, on Sunday, at the end of Sunday, that clock started ticking. And now it's like, okay, let's see how fast does this happen, because that's going to be the big signal on, is Waymo screwed? Is Uber screwed? Or, yeah, in about a year, maybe they're in 2 cities in Texas. Like, that's kind of underwhelming if that's the case. Waymo just announced in Atlanta. They're in Austin now. They're in Miami. They just expanded San Fran area. They expanded LA. So, it's this is a moment right now that I think I think that's kind of why the stock's been down lately. I'm sure there's other reasons. People are probably paranoid about delivery numbers coming up, which, seems like they're going to be rather low. But what happens from here? I don't know if it's going to happen fast. I hope it is. I think there's a lot of signal to saying we should see an expansion soon, as in a week, but we'll see. What do you think?
I'm very, very confident.
Herbert's...
Right. So after the experience that I had on Sunday, because you know how I've actually been very conservative, right? I kept saying to everybody last several months, do not expect the Tesla stock or Tesla kind of Robotaxi to do anything, because dip toe meant to me that it's going to be
true. I think of you as Herbert the conservative. So yeah.
No, well, in this case, I was right. I was saying that in January onward, that's when we might see something valuable. Don't react to Robotaxi. But after experiencing it, I'm now moving those forward, because I do think that the app is pretty good. They're very good. It works. The whole experience was flawless. The car works, is driving everywhere perfectly. Obviously, it's neat to see in scale numbers to really truly know. So that's the reason I'm going. Okay, it's going to move faster than I thought, which is
what does that
probably
mean,
what.
Though?
Yeah, I'm still at the 1,000 cars by the end of this year. I think that would be a good win for me.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, but it's about the number that everybody I've asked said that they would expect 1,000 to 2,000 by the end of this year. But if you look at what Elon's been doing the last few days, because you were saying, right, what happened on Sunday and where we're at today. Well, again, you can't really use Elon, but if you look at the things he's been retweeting and posting, it is confidence. It is like he's posting things like today. He reposted a video of him just 2 months ago at the all hands meeting, where he was saying that, don't hold on to your stock, and Tesla's, you won't see anything yet. Robotaxi's, going on. And then just things that he keeps posting about, just, Waymo does that. Yeah, just they'll never learn. Waymo's, doesn't need to have those LiDARs. It's just very, very positive. So I think that the launch was very successful, and I think it still is successful today. And they're just, like you said, everything you said was right on. But I think that they're going to move faster than we all expect. Like these rumors, right? We are actually already seeing cars being tested on highways. They, we haven't heard it yet again from him about whether or not it's a go for this idea of a car driving itself home from the factory.
Yeah, it's funny. We Sunday finished, and we went into Monday, and we went to yesterday, Tuesday, and I was still seeing people posting videos of their drives.
Yes.
And it kind of dawned on me. It's like,
getting boring.
My God. Well, no, not even that. It's Sunday kind of reminded me of We Robot, where it was like this one day where this thing happened, and then after that, it's over. But then Monday and Tuesday happened. I'm like,
these cars are still doing it. Yep.
It's still going to be going. Like the service started. It's not going to stop. Like this wasn't a one-day thing. This wasn't just like, that's it. It's live forever now. You can go there and hail a Robotaxi.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this sounds stupid, but just the concept that it didn't end after Sunday was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like this is surreal. It's
I think Dirty Tesla's taken 50 rides because he's stayed there. I went home that same day. Others are arriving.
Was that like a family thing, or I was surprised you left?
Why? It's over. I get the invite, and I got to make a decision. Am I going to go there? I only have a day to decide. I've booked flights and everything. I go there. I go. I got these shows to do, man. So in and out. But I am going on vacation this week too.
Oh, okay, there it is.
I am going vacation starting this Friday. So
good, you deserve it.
Yeah, and boy, this weekend was crazy.
It was.
I stayed up till 3:30 in the morning Saturday, partying with just meeting all of you guys. It's just wonderful. So,
yeah. Honestly, it was very frustrating for me because, as you know, I get the invite for We Robot, and me, my wife, and our puppy are evacuating away from a hurricane. We're sitting there in traffic. I'm just sitting there like, this is cruel. This is just cruel.
You didn't get to go.
Yeah. And then this launch happens, and I was like, you know what? I'm only going to go if I get invited. I didn't get invited. And then I see Sir and everybody else is there. I'm like, damn it. I should have just gone because
you should have just gone. And if you were there, you would have gotten an invite because they were just, just like, oh, there's only 14. And then you go, oh, so next year, please give them one. They'll give it to you. Yeah. It's like people think that this was like, no, they just, if you were there, they would have given it to you. Especially now, they're opening it up now. So I think if you go there now, you'll get it. James Dama's there right now. Omar's there, of course. And people are staying multiple days so they can keep getting rides. I think Sawyer's he's been just, they're taking as many rides as they can. So there's at least over 1,000 rides by now. Small numbers, but
I might look into doing a quick trip out there just to experience it.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I can get it. I know I can.
Pretty sure you will.
I'm sure Farzad would come with
there
me.
You go.
Nothing else.
What? I just said up. I just said I'll help you, and then you go like. I
think you referral me.
Yeah.
Well, to Tesla? It's like.
You're saying that if you go there and you don't get your own invite, then at least you've got people there that will drive you.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, worst case scenario.
Dude,
could you imagine that? I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go, and I'm like, well, that didn't work.
You will. No, don't think that way. There's no doubt, zero chance that you would not be able to be a guest of somebody's car, or high chance you would get the invite because they're expanding it. Now, they did turn it, just to be clear, they did shut down the service when there was a massive rainstorm. Because again, this is they don't want to have paranoia just this first week or month. They don't want to have that. But there's no reason why the car can't drive in the rain.
That,
so just
guys,
be clear.
For anyone who's still listening, and I hope you are because Brian's about to come on, rain, I don't care where you live, you do not have harder rain than we have here in Florida. I promise you. You do not. We are literally the hardest rain in the entire country. FSD crushes rain.
Yeah.
Insanely.
I live in Seattle, Washington. I've been driving it for years, and I've never had the FSD shut down, as they say. And I've driven in downpours on highways and everything going on. It often might say FSD is degraded, but it's still running.
Yeah. Duh. We're all degraded at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. My own eyes are degraded, and that's why you should just slow down and you should maybe get off the road or whatever. But, this idea that FSD can't ride in rain is just not true. So,
I saw people making a big deal about that yesterday. And I was like, this is such a non-issue. Like, this is, it's obvious. They're just doing it for precaution.
Yeah.
It's like saying, oh my God, they have seatbelts in the car. But they think it's going to get an accident. It's like, what? No.
Yeah. Why do people not say that? They go, hey, one of the things about taking a Robotaxi is it forces you to put on a seatbelt, right? Before you get in, and it says fasten seatbelt. It will not start until every passenger is put in the seatbelt. Why? I'm sure people are going, how dare, if it was so safe, then nobody needs to wear a seatbelt.
Exactly.
It's like ridiculous. Anyways, we'll see. All right. We'll see who ends up having the last word on all this. Thank you, Nick. We'll see you guys, everybody, next week. Stay on, and you'll be redirected to Brian. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.